iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office? It's open, my friends. All right, let's get to it. Week is done. And let's start it out. Well, it's not done exactly yet. The Giants and Bengals are tonight, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But let's get to Tennessee and Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers let up 47 points. 47 points. That is an insane amount in the NFL. And I'm telling you right now, I think the Packers are stale. The Packers are like bread that you buy in the supermarket and it's 3 days later. And you're just like, yeah, I don't want it anymore. I think Mike McCarthy is stale. And I think putting in James Starks is stale. Why is there not more Ty Montgomery? I know you're behind. That's even more reason to have Ty Montgomery in there. I just don't understand what the Packers are doing. Randall Cobb is on a snap count. I don't say he's ready to play and put him on a snap count. I mean, Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams did an amazing job this week. Wasn't good enough. This defense is terrible. Aaron Rodgers, I think the numbers are gaudy, but I don't think he's played very well, and I think you guys would admit that. You're watching this game. Would you rather have Mariota or Rodgers? Dare I say, you might rather have Marcus Mariota. He looked great. 295 yards and 4 touchdowns. How about DeMarco Murray, 123 yards and a touchdown? Delaney Walker, 124 yards and a touchdown. Oh yeah, Rashard Matthews, another touchdown. Anthony Fasano, touchdown. Kendall Wright, touchdown. Touchdown. Crazy. Packers better figure it out right now. If they don't, the season's going to be over. And they're not going to be in the playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, the Vikings are moving farther and farther away from the playoffs every week. Sammy Bradford, 31 for 40, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, which is an amazing feat considering his offensive line's in shambles. Shambles. The run game is non-existent without AP. McKinnon, Asiata, Hillman, they all stink. Stink. I think this offseason, if I'm the Vikings, I fix my offensive line and I get myself a backup running back. And I get rid of all these bums. Seriously. I have Stephon Diggs, I have Patterson, I have Thielen, I have Rudolph, I have Treadwell. I can live with that. I need myself a running back and I need myself an offensive line. No offensive line? Big problems. Why is Tennessee looking so good? They worked on their offensive line. Dallas, good offensive line. Washington, 22 for 33, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns from my man Kirk Cousins. I liked him in the beginning of the year. He had a rough start, but it's getting better and better for Kirk Cousins. 5-3 for the Redskins. 5-3 for the Redskins. And they've got Green Bay next week. Then it's a big 3-week stretch. Dallas, Arizona, Philadelphia, all 3 on the road. So this Green Bay game is huge. Huge. Bernie Sanders would say huge. They need this one. Right? You've got to go into that game 6-3 because you might lose the next 3 games after that. You might. Then you're 6-6. Figuring out a way to get in the playoffs. Just saying. All right. R. Kelly, 22 for 97. He is the starting running back. Forget Matt Jones. It's done. Matt Jones, his ship is come and gone. Chris Thompson, not a great day. 4 for 25 in rushing, 3 for 11 in receiving. Not a great day. Better day for R. Kelly. Jamison Crowder was all right. Had a touchdown, 37 yards. Jordan Reed was nowhere to be found. Looks like they're going double tight end with VD. Vernon Davis, 66 yards and a touchdown. Lucky Pierre Garçon, 81 yards. But here, it's about R. Kelly. And I don't think you see Deshaun Jackson next week either. I think he's out. So next week against Green Bay, I think you're going to see Crowder have a good week. I think you're going to see the tight ends have a good week. See what Delaney Walker did against Green Bay? You don't think Jordan Reed could do that? Giddy up. In quite possibly the worst display of football I've ever seen, Jay Cutler, 16 for 30, 182 yards and a touchdown and 2 picks. 50 of those yards were a touchdown, a Hail Mary toss to Cameron Meredith. So Jay Cutler threw for 132 yards against one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. That is unacceptable. Jordan Howard may or may not be hurt. We don't know yet. He says he's not hurt. John Fox says he's hurt. I'd like to know the answer to this question. But I'm hurt just watching the Bears. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey, 4 for 47. Zach Miller, 4 for 32. Eddie Royal, 1 for 24 against Tampa Bay? Come on. Come on. That's an embarrassment. Famous Jameis Winston, 312 yards, 2 TDs. Cameron Brate, 7 for 84 and a touchdown. Mike Evans only had 5 targets, but he had 4 catches. Adam Humphries had 8 targets. So what you saw there was the Bears try to shut Mike Evans down. Who does Tampa have next week? Tampa has Kansas City. I think Kansas City might try to do the same thing. But Kansas City is very stingy against the tight end. Very. This is not a good week for Cameron Brate. So Doug Martin looked pretty good, though. 16 for 33 and a touchdown. Peyton Barber got 12 carries only because this game was done. Seriously, this game was done. All right, Kansas City against Carolina. I got a lot to say about this game. First of all, Alex Smith stinks. Alex Smith had Travis Kelce open all game long and couldn't find him. Come on. You're a pro quarterback. He's going to watch the film, and he should go to Travis Kelce and apologize from the bottom of his heart for costing this guy statistics. I mean, they win another game. They're 7-2. I don't know how they're doing it. Smoke and mirrors. Spencer Ware, 13 for 61. 3 receptions for 11 yards. I mean, Charkandrick West is nothing anymore. This is Spencer Ware. It's a Spencer Ware show. I mean, Ware will have better weeks next week at Tampa Bay. I love Spencer Ware. I'm all in on Spencer Ware next week. Tyreek on Fleek Hill, 10 for 89. Travis Kelce, 3 for 31. Are you kidding me? Seriously. Albert Wilson had more receptions than Travis Kelce. That's awful. Next, Cam Newton. I don't know what's going on in Carolina, but Cam is like that ultimate front runner. When things are going good, he's good. When things are going bad, he's bad. I mean, he was okay yesterday, 261 and a touchdown, 54 yards and a touchdown rushing. But I don't know, man. They stopped playing. It's 17-3. This game is not over. Do I blame Kelvin Benjamin for the loss? No, I think it was a good defensive play more than it was a bad play on Benjamin's part. The guy ripped the ball. I mean, pretty much mugged him. But Benjamin was 7 for 84. But what did I tell you? Greg Olsen, not a good week. We knew that. 5 for 39. This was not Kansas City stops a tight end. Don't play tight ends against Kansas City. Ted Ginn Jr., 5 for 44. Devin Funchess, 3 for 56 and a touchdown. All right. Philadelphia and Atlanta. Carson Wentz, 231 yards, no TDs, no nothing. But here, Ryan Matthews, 19 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. OMG. I mean, really. In a million years, I would never have predicted that. Ever. You know, Jeff Manns was talking about that he benched Ryan Matthews and put in Teron Ward. I don't know if I would have done that, but I can't blame Jeff. Matthews has shown nothing. I've been telling you guys Matthews isn't a good fit for this offense. But here's where I see Matthews' role. It's starting to crystallize for me. He's pretty good at the goal line. And Darren Sproles is a little guy. And Wendell Smallwood is small. So Ryan Matthews will have a spot. Let's call him this. How about this? Let's call him Philadelphia's version of LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount's the kind of guy that can have 3 touchdowns in a week. And some weeks he'll have more rushing yards. Some weeks he won't. But he's always a threat to score in a standard league. So Ryan Matthews, to me, is their version of LeGarrette Blount. So Philadelphia at Seattle, could he get a rushing touchdown? Sure. Green Bay? Sure. Do I think he's going to go crazy with 109 yards each week? No. But could he get me 6 more touchdowns this year? Yes. Yes. Jordan Matthews, 6 for 76. Zach Ertz, 6 for 55. Sproles, 8 for 57. Saw a lot of Sproles in this game because they were losing at one point. right? They were losing at one point, so they had to go to Sproles. Matt Ryan, not a great game. I really like Atlanta at home more than I like them on the road. I should have played Ben more and less Ryan. I mean, Julio Jones' Roto was 10 for 135. That was pretty good. But there wasn't enough Sanu. There wasn't enough Gabriel. There wasn't enough Freeman. This is a mistake on my part. Austin Hooper, 1 for 8. Nothing special. Nothing special in this game. All right. I've said this before. So the Rams and Jets, you're taking your kid to the game. You're paying a whole lot of money. You get there and you're like, Case Keenum against Bryce Petty. This is a great game, son. No. I mean, look, these are two teams these are not their quarterbacks. Case Keenum's a placeholder. I don't know what Jeff Fisher's doing. 4-5. It's just not good enough. I want to see. Look, you're neutering your team. You're neutering Todd Gurley. Stop it. I mean, Kenny Britt's played well, but Lance Kendricks? Two targets? 1 reception for 0 yards? Are you kidding me? I'm just blown away here. I'm blown away. And how ineffective Todd Gurley is because nobody respects Case Keenum. Please just get him out of there. Jared Goff is sat. You've proved the point. He's learning. It's a Steve McNair thing. I get it. Put him in now. If he doesn't know it by now, he's a moron. Bryce Petty, I mean, look, this is a guy who played for Baylor and Art Briles' offense where they rolled it up. This is not a pro quarterback. I don't know if Christian Hackenberg is either. I don't think the Jets quarterback of their future is on their team. It's not Geno Smith. It's not Bryce Petty. It's not Hackenberg. These guys suck. Sometimes you have to be aggressive. Sometimes in the draft, you got to trade away your whole draft to get a guy you need. That's what you got to do. All right, Robbie Anderson, 3 for 69. Bilal Powell, 752 and a touchdown. Brandon Marshall, 4 for 15. I mean, really? 4 for 15, 5.5 points. Quincy Nunwell, 1.7. It's that bad. Really is that bad. All right, Denver beats the Saints 25-23. I had predicted the Saints to win this game. And you know what? If it wasn't for a fluke play at the end, I think it would have happened. I do. Drew Brees, 21 for 29, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns. Always play Drew Brees at home. Always. So let's look moving forward. New Orleans, at Carolina, no. LA, Drew Brees. Detroit, Drew Brees. Then he's at Tampa, at Arizona, Tampa Bay, Drew Brees. You have 3 more excellent Drew Brees weeks and probably another one at Tampa Bay as well. Maybe even another one at Carolina. Great player. Mark Ingram, 11 for 50. Hightower, 8 for 21. They didn't run the ball enough. They ran it down people's throats last week, but not this week. But Brandon Cooks Roto, nobody wanted to play him. You always play him at home. 98 yards and a touchdown. Willie Snead, 47 and 2 touchdowns. Michael Thomas, not a great week. Trevor Siemian is not very good. And I think he's kind of injured. I don't know if we're going to see more Paxton Lynch, but I don't think they're winning with Trevor Siemian. Let me tell you that much. I mean, they're 7-3, but it's an ugly 7-3. Devontae Booker had 24 carries. Capri Bibbs had 7. So we know that Booker is the guy. Okay? Demaryius Thomas, 8 for 87 and a touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders, 5 for 54. It's just not good enough. Emmanuel Sanders is just very average right now. There are about 40 receivers I want more than I want Emmanuel Sanders at this point. It's that bad. All right, speaking of bad, there's no other words I have for Brock Osweiler than suck, bad, pathetic, awful, embarrassing. 14 for 27 for 99 yards. Now, I'm not good in math, so let me get my handy-dandy calculator here. That's an average about 7 yards a pass. Are you kidding me? If I can't go out now and throw for more than 7 yards a pass, I'll retire in one game. But do me a favor. You only have to pay me a third of what you paid Brock Osweiler. And I'll do it. And I'm in my 40s. Lamar Miller, 15 for 83, but he didn't play that many snaps because he was hurt. DeAndre Hopkins, 5 for 48. I know DeAndre Hopkins wants a contract. You know what? Not in Houston, dude. Go anywhere else. Go to the Patriots. Tom Brady will make you a Hall of Famer. Do you know what the difference between a Hall of Famer is? Having Tom Brady as your quarterback and Brock Osweiler. Nook Hopkins might just be the best receiver in football. He might, but you wouldn't know it because he's on the team with the crappiest quarterback. Put Nook Hopkins with Ben Roethlisberger, you think good things might happen? I think so too. Really, it's a joke. Speaking of jokes, Blake Bortles is a joke. So here's what I want you to do if you own Blake Bortles. I want you to make a pact with me that you will never, ever, ever watch a Jacksonville Jaguar game. I just want you to look at the box score the next day, or maybe later that night. Because now when you look at it, you're like, oh, 32 for 49, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. This guy doesn't suck. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yes, he does. Garbage time. Garbage time. This is 21-10 going in the fourth quarter. Allen Robinson, 9 for 107 and a touchdown. Everybody else stunk. It's that bad. It really is. All right, Miami and San Diego. Miami's starting to play a little bit better. Let's take a look who they have the rest of the way. Miami has, one moment please, please hold. Please continue to hold. Thank you for holding. All right, at the Rams. 49ers. Oh, look at Jay Ajayi that week. He may have 3,000 yards. At Baltimore, Arizona, the Jets, and Buffalo. They got to win the next 2 weeks. They got to beat LA and San Francisco because they may struggle against Baltimore and Arizona. And then they got the division rivalry. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Tannehill goes for 240 and 2 touchdowns. Devontae Parker, 5 receptions, 103 yards. Jarvis Landry, 6 for 53. Jay Ajayi, 19 for 79. Not a great day, but they still won. At the end of the day, the defense played well. Phillip Rivers, 326 yards, 3 TDs, 4 interceptions. Melvin Gordon, though, had 29 touches. You have to play him. Tyrell Williams, 5 for 125 and a touchdown. San Diego's on the cusp of being a really good team. They really are. I think if they had their players back, you would be very impressed with this team. I really believe that. It's a very good team. I like watching them play. All right, Dallas over Pittsburgh. Dak Prescott, 319 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zeke Elliott, 114 yards and 2 touchdowns, including one at the end of the game that shocked me. I mean, he went through that Pittsburgh defense like a knife goes through butter. Shoo! And then Zeke had 95 yards receiving and a touchdown. Des Bryant, 116 yards and a touch. Jason Witten, a more focal point in the offense. Cole Beasley had 9 targets. Forget Terrence Williams, he's done. For Pittsburgh, here's what was interesting. Ben Roethlisberger was back. Eli Rogers had 5 targets, but Sammy Coates stinks. Get rid of Sammy Coates. He's a nightmare, and Ben knows it. Ben knows he's bad. Antonio Brown was 14 for 154 and a touchdown, and Lev Bell was 9 for 77 and a touchdown. He also had 57 yards and a touchdown rushing. But Sammy Coates is not the answer. Man, they need Martavis Bryant. That was a bad loss for the Steelers. Get your act together, Martavis. All right, Arizona, speaking of getting their acts together, what is Bruce Arians doing this year? 4-4-1? You only beat the 49ers by 3? 49ers stink. Carson Palmer, 376 yards and a touchdown, 2 picks. Why aren't you giving the ball to David Johnson more? 55 yards and a touchdown. 5 receptions, 46 yards. Larry Fitzgerald goes for 133 yards. Michael Floyd, 101. Michael Floyd, oh my God. Has it come to that? John Brown, only 2 for 30. J.J. Nelson, 2 for 29. That was rough. Speaking of rough, Carlos Hyde, 13 for 14. DeJuan Harris, 15 for 14. You know, you can't play either of these guys when you have Colin Kaepernick. You just can't. Colin Kaepernick had 210 yards and a touchdown. He had 55 yards rushing and a touchdown. Jeremy Curley, 71 yards and a touchdown. But Colin Kaepernick is all about Colin Kaepernick. That's who he's about. All right, in a really good game, and I want to give myself some credit here. I called this game. What did I tell you was going to happen? If you listened to our show on Friday or Saturday, I said that Jimmy Graham was going to be shut down. He was, 4 for 48, which was going to leave Doug Baldwin open in the slot. Doug Baldwin, 6 for 59 and 3 touchdowns. I told you this was a Wilson to Baldwin game. It was. And then for the kicker in your DFS lineups, you should have had Julian Edelman. If you did that right, you would be winning right now. You would be. Russell Wilson looked great. Precise did an excellent job. 7 for 87 receiving, 66 yards rushing, looked good. Christian Michael's done. By the way, he's done. When Thomas Rawls comes back, he's the guy. Write that down. Tyler Lockett had an appearance, 3 for 72. He looked better. Seattle's looking better, guys. Seattle's looking better. I'm nervous about Seattle. You might see a New England-Seattle Super Bowl again. Brady had 316 yards, but no touchdowns. LeGarrette Blount had 3 touchdowns. You know, they were pass interference calls. They got the ball on the 1-yard line. They gave it to LeGarrette Blount. Blunt's good for like 1 or 2 touchdowns a week. Marty B, 7 for 102. Julian Edelman, 7 for 99. Gronk, 3 for 56. And that was all you saw there. All right, in tonight's game, the Giants versus the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to play well. I don't think the Giants will. The Giants don't usually play well in spots like this. Monday Night Football, the Giants. Eli usually puts up a lemon. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's a great game. I hope that we see Green and Beckham go for 100 yards each with a touchdown each. I hope we see Tyler Eifert go off. I could use him in a couple of leagues. I hope that we see Paul Perkins make a play or two. I just don't know. I have a feeling this game is going to be a bit of a dud. But maybe a defensive touchdown one way or the other. Maybe a special team score. We'll have to see. I think these are two offenses that can play well. But if you need players, I'll say obviously Dalton. I like Gio Bernard more than Hill. I like A.J. Green and Eifert. For the Giants, take a look at Paul Perkins. Take a look at ODB or OBJ. And take a look at this kid, Roger Lewis. Victor Cruz, I believe, will be out tonight. Roger Lewis will come in. He may make a play. If that happens and Eli throws the football, the Giants may have Eli may get about 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns, and that would be pretty good. All right, time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. I want to thank you guys for being a part of the Scout Army. And if you aren't, please join scoutfantasy.com. Enter the promo code ROTO. That's ROTO. Pay for 1 month. We'll get you 2 more for free. All right, we'll back tomorrow. Be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!